Fam, what's up? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. We got the 49ers taking on the Dallas Cowboys as well. So if you guys could give me some updates, because you know I got the Niners on my mind. What's up, Lex? I see you inside the comment box. Hope you're doing well back in beautiful Albuquerque, New Mexico. She was up visiting me for a little while. Tonight on the show, I want to take your calls and dive into this Alabama team. And I have a couple questions for you that I want to ask. And I created a new graphic basically to ask these particular questions. And this is, if you call into the show tonight, this is what I'm going to ask you. What's up? I see you. King Family Reacts inside the comment box. What's going on? What's going on, Jarvis? Jarvis, is that line right? 19, Alabama favored by 19 against Arkansas? Let me know inside the comment box. All right, so these are my questions. You guys call in the show. This is what I'm going to ask you. Is the respect factor back for Alabama after their victory over Texas A&M and after the fact that Jalen Milroe continues to silence doubters through the air, 321 yards? Are you not entertained? Seriously. Kid completely balled out. Jermaine Burton completely balled out. Isaiah Bond got fed. They did what they needed to do to win in a very hostile environment. That's going to be the most challenging place that they play up until that game against Auburn, because we know how that game goes at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Running backs, they were held in check, but that was the game plan. Jimbo Fisher, if you missed that press conference, he literally went over every single play of the game. He has the most photographic, how do you say it? The guy can remember every single play that happened in that game. Honestly, it was an incredible press conference rewind. Anaya Smith, he came back to the podium and he talked about he didn't get to do what he wanted to do, but Alabama's still able to come out with the dub. Now 3-0 in SEC play. Okay, so is this the best defense that Alabama's had in the last 5 years? Honestly, I kind of think so. Kevin Steele, T-Rob, Nick Saban, whoever's calling the plays, it doesn't matter. And then are you guys sold on Milroe? And then, okay, this is my fifth question. Is Bama better than every team in the Pac-12? And I ask this because you have USC that is ranked above Bama, who survived against Arizona. You have Oregon, who beat up on Colorado, and you have Washington. The great thing is that Oregon and Washington play this coming weekend, which should be a great game. And then Notre Dame plays USC, so that should be great. So with that said, we go to the phone lines, and we got 4 on, and we got a 470, and we'll jump right into it. What's up? You're on the line with Kyle Anderson. Good evening. How you doing? Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, what's up, Kyle? It's Andrew from Douglasville. How you doing, bro?
What's up, man? I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us, man. Bama now 5-1, 3-0 in SEC play. Take control of the West with the dub over Texas A&M. Welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you joining us.
All right, man. Start off. The answer to question number 1, I think respect for Bama should be back.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is. But that was pretty impressive yesterday. And then number 2, what worries me is the penalties. Now, some of those penalties I think were bogus penalties, and that ref taking kick 6 back will forever haunt me, because that was not a blindside block. Okay.
Oh no. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
That was bull crap. That ref needs to be reprimanded. That was bad. That's just as bad, if not worse, as the pass interference penalty at the end of the Tennessee game. That cost us the game. And that penalty yesterday could have easily cost us the game as well. So that referee needs to be seriously reprimanded because that penalty was bogus. That's just a bunch of bull crap. That they cheated us out of a touchdown. And that's just unacceptable. Also, we had some other penalties, but hey, it was at A&M. You got 180,000 fans screaming at you. You know, what are you going to do? You know, this is definitely the best defense. I mean, the best defense in the last 5 years. When's the last time we've seen a Bama defense block a field goal and run it back for a touchdown? It's been a while, you know. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I think it's been a few years. So that was very impressive. And then Milroe is definitely the guy. I've been sold on Milroe since the Texas game, man. I'm like, all right, yeah, we need to keep I'm sorry, the USF game. Sorry, the USF game. Been sold on Milroe. So, yeah. And Bama, hands down, they're going to kick any Pac-12 teams. But and this is another thing that bothers me. How is Alabama still only number 11 in the rankings when legit Notre Dame lost? USC should have lost. I don't know how Oregon and Washington played or any of the other top 10 teams played. I know Georgia played really good. Texas lost, and they only dropped down to number 9. But yet when we lost to Texas, we dropped out of the top 10. Come on. Whoever's deciding the rankings is clearly biased against Alabama. After that performance, I don't think any SEC team besides Georgia, I don't even know if Georgia could do it, was going to win that game yesterday. Okay? That's how hard it is going to Kyle Field, College Station, and beat Texas A&M. That team was very talented. I'm not going to say they had more talent than Alabama, but they had a lot of talent, a lot of really good guys, man. And that QB, man, Max Johnson? Yeah. He can sling the ball around pretty good for backup. So they had some really good wideouts. Max Johnson, brother, was Jake Johnson, made some good plays, and Nia Smith made some really good plays. So hats off to A&M. They got a really good team. So that was impressive. And I think looking next week to Arkansas, Arkansas, they can be good when they want to be, but I don't think we're going to have too much trouble against Arkansas. I think the Tennessee game and the LSU game and the Iron Bowl and the Kentucky game too, because that's at Kentucky. I think those 4 games, 3 games, will be really challenging for us. And so if we get past those games, and I think we're gonna beat Georgia in the SEC championship. And if we beat Georgia, I think we're definitely in the playoffs. So still got a gauntlet ahead of us, but I think if we keep playing like that and keep improving, I think that Bam will definitely win out. And that was just a really impressive performance yesterday. Yeah, we had some issues on the penalties, the snapping issues still. That I don't know why we're having issues snapping the football. That's just ridiculous. And some of those penalties, that was bullcrap. I mean, you went back and you look at the replay, and the guy they called on didn't even flinch. So that was a bunch of bullcrap. So those penalties, which drive me crazy, man. But other than that, and I don't even think that pick was that bad, to be honest. I think that was actually just a really good play by the safety, because I went back and watched that. The guy was wide open. The safety came out of nowhere, it seemed like. So I don't even think that was a bad pick on Milroe. So I think we played a really good game yesterday. I think Milroe did a really good game. He threw for 321 and 3 touchdowns or something like that. Yeah, that's impressive. And we didn't run that much. We had a couple of runs. I don't even know how much we ran. But I was a little bit disappointed. I thought we were going to see some more QB design runs. But we didn't. I don't think there was any QB design runs. So I think
there wasn't.
Incorporate more of that. But the deep throw, though, man, Milroe could throw. And I think a wideout dropped some passes, which drives me crazy. I mean, these guys are getting paid all this money, and dropping passes are in their hands. I mean, they were in their hands too. So we need to improve on that. But other than the penalties and dropping some passes, dude, I thought Alabama played really good. And I just hope we keep on improving, man. And if we keep playing well, I think we'll definitely win out. But that's all I got for you, man.
I appreciate you calling in, Andrew. Please call again next time. Honestly, great take, man. And I like how you kind of rolled through the fire, because you hit a lot of things that clearly I wanted to talk about. But please call again next time, and I appreciate your support.
All right, man. Kyle, roll tide, man.
All right, roll tide to you, man. The thing about it, what Andrew from Douglasville just brought up, is the fact that penalty, when Chris Broswell blocked the field goal, and it comes right back to him, and then he jets up the sideline. It would have been his second touchdown in 2 consecutive games, right, as he had a pick 6 against Mississippi State. And Dallas Turner literally was ahead of the guy and kind of just bumped him, and he got called for a penalty. And that was a complete garbage call. And I said this earlier today. I don't tweet during the games, but that was some BS. Like that call should not have happened. It took points off the board. I believe that is the 6th touchdown that has been taken away for Alabama because of a penalty this season, which is just unbelievable to think about. And it could have honestly cost them the game if the defense doesn't come out and perform well there at the back end. I just think that that was a complete crap call. But the 9 pre-snap penalties were something that really jumped out to me. And I get it. There's 14 penalties in that game for 99 yards. Alabama clearly has to clean up those items. But the pre-snap penalties, a lot of that is the environment, but a lot of that is on the players as well. Got to take care of those pre-snaps. I cannot believe that they had 14 penalties for 99 yards and still came away with the dub. We go back to the phone lines, and it's a 205. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is D from T-Town.
Hey, what's up, D? I appreciate you calling in. Hope you're having a good evening. Welcome to the show.
All right, man. Well, the first question, places should have respect, but we're seeing a lot of these shows, they're still not respecting us. But we'll show them. And as far as the concerns, you're correct. 6 TDs taken away by penalty. We just need to have a lot more consistency because when we play a better teams or good teams, this could, especially on the road, this can cause us the game.
Yeah.
You know, and as far as the third question with the defenses, I really love what I see. And yes, it's better than Golden's defense, and especially impressed with the in-game adjustments. We haven't seen that in years. We really haven't. And of course, you look at teams like USC, Washington, Oregon. We're better than, but we have to play our game.
Yeah.
Other thing I had to say was, I mean, you have to think about Jalen Milroe. Excellent game. Had one pick, that's okay. You have to think about it. He's only had 7 starts. He's not like 2-year or 3-year starter or anything like that. But I'm just impressed with everything we've been doing, and we just need to continue to grow. Take it one game at a time. And, I just wanted to give a shout out to the show, man. Your show is the best. And I also like the other shows you have on the channel, the coaches show and everything. And I really appreciate everything you do.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
That's about it.
Before you go, I wanted to ask you about question number 3, and that's the best D in the last 5 seasons, because the reason I'm asking you about this is because I'm starting to look at this defense and feel that exact same way. And I'm starting to dive in, why do we feel that way? And for me, and I'm going to think about this more, and maybe I'll have, something more in depth later on this week about the defense, but it feels to me that they're complete at every single level. In the trenches, the linebackers, both interior and the outside linebackers. And I feel that the corners as well as the safeties, it's a complete unit at all facets of the defense, right? Like, it doesn't feel like there's very many, if any, a weak spot. And now with the play of Justin Ebogbe, Tim Keenan, Jaheim Otis, Dallas Turner, and one player that we need to continue to spotlight is the play of Chris Broswell. Broswell is playing, man, like this is the Broswell that we've been waiting for. And him and Dallas Turner, I don't think he's going to get lost in the shadow behind Dallas Turner at all, but he's playing at an elite level, and so is Terran Arnold, and so is Kool-Aid, and Caleb Downs is the freshman of the week. So it's like the defense just feels so complete. Would you agree with that, D?
I would definitely agree with that. I would say one thing I've noticed, they're holding each other accountable. And we haven't seen that in quite a while. And if you notice, they had great communication on the field. Even when Malachi Morse went out and Terrian stepped in his place, they still had that great communication with each other. And you could see it back there with the secondary. And as far as Braswell, I mean, he's just been waiting his turn. Like they say at Bama, all you need is 1 year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys, the communication has been great with these guys, and I can't wait to continue to see them play going forward because they've been playing consistent, but they're also getting better as well. Just as the offense is getting better, like the offense is still trying to catch up, and they're not anywhere close to where the defense is, but the defense is getting better, and they've been so consistent and only getting better. So anyways, D, thank you very much for calling in. I appreciate it, and thank you very much for the support. We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, that was D calling out of Tuscaloosa. Got a couple super chats in. Thank you very much, James. He says, it's so much watching this Bama team grow up together. I agree. And I think look, if Saban continues to have this way with this team, you imagine by the end of this season, this may be one of his best coaching jobs. He's coaching this team up. That's maybe why, like, kind of in hindsight, when we watch like the Netflix documentary about Coach Saban, in 10 years or 5 years or whatever it is, and they talk about this season, like he was happy during the fall camp because I think he's coaching these guys up. It wasn't a perfect team coming in. He's had to coach them up and to get to this level, and it's really been impressive. And we did see him blow up, and he did talk about that on the coach's show, why he did, get after the guys, and that was had to do with Miss Terry. But I think he's having fun coaching these guys up. You saw some footage after the game with him getting hype with the players, and then we also have a super chat inside from Jason. He said, I was discouraged by how quickly we seem to give up on the running game, but happy to see Jalen step up and show he can win with his arm. Yeah, and I wonder how much of that is to do with the game plan from Texas A&M, because they were just going to front load and make Jalen beat them over the top, which he did. I think this gives Jalen so much momentum and the offense overall. And I like the fact that Tommy Rees let the kid throw the ball downfield, and Jermaine Burton came through in such a big way. And I thought some of the throws from Milroe, there was a couple that were off. In fact, he didn't grade very well in Pro Football Focus, but the back end throw to the right when he threw a bullet to Jermaine Burton for a touchdown, that was a big time throw. And he certainly showcased a lot of his abilities. And just like Andrew was saying, there wasn't many design runs for Jalen. There didn't need to be. This was more about Jalen beating Texas A&M over the top, which he did. So I appreciate the super chat. We go back to the phone lines, and we have, I think we got Demetrius calling back in. Hey, Demetrius, what's up, man? Thanks for double dipping today. We appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome back to the show.
Of course, it's me again. I'm back in the saddle. But yeah, I watched the game again. For 2.5 times, and I want to begin with, man, it feels good to have especially on the defensive side of the field, a good coaching staff, because that's something we've been missing. I mean, every year we always get coaches plucked from us, and it's hard to build that continuity amongst the coaches also.
Mm-hmm.
And I shout out to the inside linebacker coach. What's his name?
Robert Balla. Robert Balla.
Yeah, and Coach T-Rob, and the outside linebackers coach, and Kevin Steele. I mean, you could tell. I mean, Kevin Steele always have been a good, solid defensive coordinator in the SEC when he was at Auburn. Mm-hmm. And it's good. It's good to see that, and to get us back to that. And Coach Roach for the defensive line, he got it's all of it on that side of the ball is clicking together.
Mm-hmm.
It's clicking together, and I don't fear Tennessee as much, because last year with the same play, Ron Hyde, he got a whole bunch of momentum, and the safety picking him up when he full speed. Of course, you're gonna get burnt. Coach Pete Golden didn't want to make the adjustments, and like the previous caller said, you got them in-game adjustments. It reminds me of the Jeremy Pruitt days. He could just, in the middle from serious to serious, he'll make adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kirby Smart was good at it also. And it's good to see that. I mean, just like I said earlier today, I just wish that, what you open the show up with, that Jalen could feed. I really want to see the tight end get more involved, and start feeding different receivers, and get this offense clicking and rolling. But keep keep us down. As far as I'm concerned, keep us at number 20 in the polls, because that's what we need. We don't need no hype, nobody. That rat poison. And, we just going to sneak into another national championship. And before,
Demetrius, let me ask you this, Demetrius. Do you think that Alabama gained a little bit respect back following that win over Texas A&M? And then my fifth question to you from the graphic is, do you think that Alabama is currently better, just head-to-head, from teams compared against USC, Washington, Oregon?
Well, to answer that the last question, the way we played yesterday, we'll beat any team in the Pac-12 easily.
Yeah.
That we have the defense to come back. We got two good corners.
Yep.
Secondary good, the star position good. Mm-hmm. We have the defensive backfield that come back there compared to years prior. Mm-hmm. We have a good inside linebacker core. We have the outside guys doing what they're supposed to, and we have the inside interior guys doing what they're supposed mm-hmm. to. Like I say, they're playing as a unit on that side of the ball. Mm-hmm. And yes, USC quarterback, that ain't gonna fly with Alabama defense, especially if they're making adjustments like they is, and they're just gonna get better at making adjustments and better at communicating. So, I don't. My biggest concern is the offensive side of the ball.
But they are trending upwards, and we continue to see progress.
They're trending upwards.
And you're obviously sold on Jalen Milroe, right?
Yeah, I'm sold. Yeah. That's who Coach Saban going with, so that's why I'm a roll with. Even during the Jalen Hurts and Tua battles, I feel that's what they're paying the big money for, to make them decisions. So. Who am I to question about my opinion? I would, like I say, maybe Ty Simpson. I know Ty Simpson can distribute the ball better than Buchner. But, hey, if his number ever get called up, just come on in the game and show them what you can do, Ty.
Yep.
But, yeah, the offense, it's taking steps, and that's the direction I like I'm seeing. It ain't, because these last 3 years, like I said, I done scratched a little hole on ball spot on the right side of my temple here. Every time you turn around, you like, what? You can't make this up. The play calling from the last couple of years, and then you got the defense. It used to be, we all done watch Alabama. It go from, okay, the defense will cover the offense if mm-hmm. the defense, it's offense having a bad game, or vice versa. Mm-hmm. Especially we have been notorious for making the right plays at the right time, and that's what happened there on defense this year. On the offense, it reminds me of the LSU game when AJ McCarron hit TJ Yeldon in the last seconds of the game to win mm-hmm. the game. Mm-hmm. That's an Alabama drive. Everybody was clicking on the offense. Mm-hmm. Offensive line, Barry Jones and them guys. Mm-hmm. Hey, they strap their helmet on. Let's get the job done because we're Alabama. That's what I'm waiting to see.
Yep. All right, Demetrius. So I got to move to my next caller, man. But I appreciate the support, man. Thanks for double dipping, man, and roll tide to you. Take it easy, buddy. All right, that was Demetrius calling out from North Carolina. Appreciate it. We got a 615, a 502, and a 601, and another line open. So when you call in, 786 just joined us. When you call in and you get a busy signal, that is because the calls that we have 4 lines that are that we own, and those lines are busy. And like I said, I pay for the lines, so I could have like 8 or 10 calls, but then I'd have to pay for all of those continued lines at once. We'll go back to the phone lines in just a second. 615. My name is Kyle Henderson at Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Would you like to see more tight ends utilized? Amari Niblack had a reception yesterday. It was just great, and I was talking about this on my earlier show, is the fact that Isaiah Bond and Jermaine Burton look like rideouts yesterday, 100%. Like, they need to bring back the crane. Those guys were doing a fantastic job in space, and I thought that, Burton was getting held on the outside as well. There was a time where his arm was getting pulled. He's got a face mask, and he's still able to go up and make some of those contested catches. And Bond comes through with a big touchdown. I thought that was one of the turning points in that first half. And then in the second half, when Caleb Downs, the freshman, came up with the interception, I thought that was a fantastic time for Alabama to gain back that momentum. That defense is just coming up and doing such a great job. And I said this earlier as well. If this offense is ever able to catch up to the defense, like, they're going to win another national title. That'd be crazy. It'd be so crazy if they're able to make a serious run this year. And I know it's all rat poison, one game at a time, but just it's amazing to see just this offensive growth. And you look at the offense from week 1 to now, I mean, not even close to being the same team. I honestly think they beat Texas if they played Texas. And that's crazy to say because Texas beat Alabama up. They did. But that was a completely different team than where Alabama is right now. And I want to get your take on these 5 questions, specifically like number 5 as well, because you got USC who barely survived. You got Oregon, you got Washington. There for a while, Utah was ranked above Alabama. The ladder is set for Alabama to continue to climb up into that top 4 just in time for the college football playoffs, which I think the first ranking, I had it out today. I think it comes out October 31st. We go back to the phone lines, and we got a 615. Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
What's up, Kyle? My name's Aaron. I'm calling in from Nashville.
What's up, Aaron? I appreciate you joining the show. Welcome on in.
Yeah, absolutely. First, I just want to say I love the show. Listen every time now. This is the first time I think YouTube recommended me something that I actually liked.
Oh, man, we're glad you're here, man. And Alabama now 5-1 on the season. And with a lot of momentum, to be honest, 19-point favorite going into this Arkansas game against a very good coach and a very quality quarterback. What are your thoughts about this team overall?
Yeah. Man, that first touchdown pass to Jermaine Burton, I've watched it like 20 times over.
Mm-hmm.
The Milroe having to grab the ball off the ground, mm-hmm. and then McClellan picking up the blitz, and then just that throw. Like, they show an angle from the back, and that throw, I mean, as many times as he overthrew people during the game, that throw was a tough throw, and it was right on money. So as far as number 4, after I saw that throw, I'm sold on Milroe.
What about, do you feel that the respect factor is kind of back? And the reason I'm asking that tonight is because Alabama's still 11 in this AP poll. I never really get caught up in the polls, but to see them still at 11, I mean, that didn't really sit well with me, specifically because they go on a road. Maybe it was because of the fact that Texas A&M wasn't ranked. Like, that A&M team is a top 25 team. There's teams in the top 25, especially that lower end, whatever, 15 to 25. Texas A&M better than all those teams. And I don't think there's many teams that go into College Station and pull out W's, right? Yeah, so that's why I felt that they should have, maybe jumped up into 9 or something like that. But whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter until the playoff rankings come out. But overall, do you think the world of college football, everybody else kind of looked at that game and was like, okay, Bama might be better than we thought?
Yeah, I mean, as far as a road win, I mean, that's got to be one of the toughest places to play in the country, but a lot of the SEC stadiums are. Mm-hmm. I didn't get a chance to look at the top, the new AP poll, so which Pac-12 teams are ahead of them?
Washington, Oregon, mm-hmm. which is great because those 2 teams played this coming Saturday, and then USC. So you have 3 Pac-12 teams out of them.
Yeah. Well, if we had to play any of those teams, it would, be playoff or national championship. So it'd be a neutral site. I think, depending on which Alabama team shows up, I think we could beat any of them.
What are your concerns about this team when you kind of look at a glance after 6 games of play?
Yeah, still just the penalties.
Yeah,
I was going to call in last show. I think you said there's a question that Alabama wins if, and mine mm-hmm. was they got to have 5 penalties and they can't turn it over. Mm-hmm. And they lost the turnover battle, and then they had 14 penalties. Of course, I agree with everybody's take on the blindside block. That was a bullcrap one. But, yeah, I mean, but top to bottom, offense, defense, special teams, I think it was the best full team win of the season. I think everybody came to play. But I think just cleaning up that stuff, which, like Saban said, that stuff's fixable. So it's good to get out of there with a win and have those problems.
I mean, I don't know how much you've been watching Bama's defense that closely over the last, couple seasons or whatever under Golding, but do you think this is the best defense that we've seen within the last 5-6 years?
Oh, yeah.
Right? But and what is it that specifically stands out to you?
Lifelong Bama fan, born and raised.
Yeah. So what stands out to you when you watch this defense?
We were talking going back to 2018. I think honestly, this is the first time in 5 years I turned the TV on and I'm not worried about the secondary.
No.
I think we've had good pass rushers, we've had good linebackers, we've had good. Kool-Aid's been there for a while, and we've had good players in the secondary. But I just feel like that's always been a weak spot. I feel like teams they've been torching us in the pass game. But this is for the first time in 5 years where I ain't worried about them guys back there.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to have
with Malachi being.
It's kind of nice to have the confidence in the kicking game and in the defense. That takes a lot of pressure and a lot of anxiety out of the equation, right? Because now, like the defense is either going to come up with a turnover or a sack, or they're going to be stout on 4th and 1. They came up that 4th and 1 against Texas A&M where they came up and stopped them. Those are the type of plays when they're able to get to Max Johnson in his own end zone to create a safety. Those are those plays that the defense is able to come up with. And your special teams play with the defense, blocking the field goal. Man, they are just playing like this. This team is just playing at such a high level defensively, and I believe they already have more interceptions than they did of all last season. I believe that Dallas Turner is ranked number 3 overall in the country in total sacks. So, man, it just kind of gives you a snapshot of where this team is playing. Tim Keenan led the team in tackles. He's a defensive tackle who's been playing amazing at 8 tackles. So just so many guys playing at a high level on the defensive side of the ball. Okay, clearly you liked the throws that Milroe made. You're completely sold on Milroe, right?
Yeah, I am. I wanted to say, too, about the kicking game. Reichard coming in and punting. I was telling my wife, I was like, how impressed I am with that.
That's
to come in the middle of the game, and that was epic.
That's a peak male athleticism, man. Just coming in, punting. The thing was, he came in a tough situation where he's punting in a critical game, and this dude's just booting the ball. And from almost from, I think it might have been from the end zone or close to it. It was close to it. Yeah, He comes in, he just booms it.
And I think they were still losing at that point too.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, because anything can go wrong. I mean, thankfully the snaps have been good to and the special team snaps. I believe that is Hibbett, the kid Neelan Hibbett, that is the snapper. But anything else, Aaron? Before I move to our next caller.
No, man, that's it. I appreciate you taking my call. Like I said, I appreciate the show. I'm so glad I found it, and I'll be listening for sure.
All right, man. Take it easy, Aaron. Appreciate you calling in from Nashville.
Yes, sir.
Roll Tide to you. The play of Will Reichard, the guy is just playing at such a high level as well. The special teams play. Earlier on my show, there was a caller who said that maybe Alabama should have somebody else returning punts. I think this is the second consecutive game that Kool-Aid has muffed a punt. And the caller brought in the fact that they would like to see Isaiah Bond maybe get an opportunity to return some punts. Kool-Aid has been the guy. He hasn't had much open space to work with in returning when he does have the ball in hand, but I could see Isaiah Bond being a great punt returner. One of the plays that I liked yesterday during the game against A&M was the kick return by Kendrick Law. He ran angry, and the guy was very difficult to bring down. I thought that was another special teams highlight as well. Just wanted to shout that out because Kendrick Law, he hasn't been receiving, catching a lot of passes, but showing up on special teams, you can also get some notoriety there. We go back to the phone lines at the 502. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Mike from Kentucky. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Mike? I appreciate you calling in, man. Thanks for joining us, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Man, I hate playing at Kyle Field.
Mm-hmm.
you not only have to beat A&M, man, dude, the Zebras did their best to keep them in that game. I still do not accept that last loss we had there year before last.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Cameron II crossed the ball. That ball crossed the plane, and it got knocked out of his hand. But, you know, a dead ball can't be fumbled. I do not accept that. I mean, they ain't whooped us. We should be undefeated at Kyle Field. I mean, it's crazy. But, you know, Houston, we do have a pass rush. They have arrived.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would have played like that against Texas. Man, what just blows my mind. Well, it don't, or not really, it don't. But, man, I've been listening, clicking on all kind of post-game talk shows. Everybody says A&M beat themselves, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody's going to take us seriously till we beat Georgia in the SEC championships. It don't matter what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But here's something that crossed my mind, Kyle. What if Oklahoma goes undefeated and Texas goes beaten once, and it comes time to pick the playoff teams, and Bama's a one-loss SEC champion, but Texas has a head-to-head win over us? Who you think they're going to put in?
Yep, I've thought
we could win the SEC and not get in, bro. That's how bad the media hates Bama. And I mean, it's just.
I think that
comes with the territory, bro.
I think that you know, now we're talking rat poison. If Alabama does run the table and they are able to beat Georgia, in an undefeated Georgia and a number 1 ranked Georgia, Alabama 100% is punching a playoff ticket. And your point is exactly right. The only way that Alabama is really going to garner respect back is if they beat Georgia in the SEC championship, should they get there. Then people will be like, okay, the Bama's there, and they beat Georgia, the 2-time defending champ, but they have to beat Georgia if they really want that kind of respect factor back, because that Texas loss, you know, it took the respect from them, but they got to work to get it. And there is an opportunity, and it starts Saturday against Arkansas, and you got to continue to beat the teams on your schedule to get to that level. But I'm with you. The only way that people are going to take this team serious if they were able to beat Georgia in the SEC championship. Go ahead, Mike.
I mean, I think that's why they had Texas A&M unranked going into that game, just to, you know, downplay. If Bama does win, they beat an unranked team. You know, just so you know what I mean. It's a little crazy, man, being a Bama fan. Man, the world, you either love Bama or you hate them. That's all there is to it.
But the good thing is, when you look at the schedule of the teams, kind of the ladder of teams ahead of Alabama, all those teams play each other. So, for example, Michigan plays Ohio State. One of those teams has to lose. Penn State plays Ohio State and Michigan. So one of those teams has to lose as well. The Pac-12 teams, they all play each other. Those teams have to lose as well. In Georgia, their schedule's been pretty light. I mean, they did look good against Kentucky. I will give them that. And the win from Auburn when Brock Bowers took over, that was impressive. Michigan, they haven't really played anybody. If you look to their schedule has been probably easier than Georgia's schedule. And Georgia has a really easy schedule. So there's some teams that I think will fall, and Alabama will continue to climb up. But I was a little bit surprised that they didn't move much in the rankings today. Mike, do you think that this Bama...
They're going to make us earn every inch of it.
100%. Do you think that this Bama team is the best, has the best defense that we've seen over the last 5 years?
This is the best defense since Reuben Foster was calling the plays.
Yeah,
I would say so. I mean, because we missed on N'Kobe Dean, middle linebacker. You know, kind of went away for a while, a long too while. But man, I tell you, the DBs look better because we got a pass rush now. I mean, you can't expect a DB to just, you know, cover a guy for 3.5 seconds, man. Them wideouts, you know, they're slippery.
Yeah.
They're going somebody's going to get loose. But now that we've got a legit pass rush, to me, that was the bright spot of the game. I mean, they were literally pancaking A&M offensive linemen in the fourth quarter. I mean, not just getting by them, going straight through them.
100%.
You know, and that was like, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's that clip on Twitter going around where Tim Keenan, Jaheim Otis, and Dallas Turner are all getting to Max Johnson at the same time. And in the background, just like you said, the A&M guys are literally getting pancaked, like on their back. They're falling. I think one was the center and one was the left guard, and they're on their back while Bama is like chasing down Max. Must have been a horrible sight for Max Johnson. But this pass rush in Braswell, he is just playing so well. And coming into the season, I felt that I wanted to see more Q Rob. But man, no, Braswell, he's the guy, 100 million%. I mean, he's been doing a fantastic job, and it was good to see Deontay Lawson back. Jahad Campbell, who had 14 tackles against Mississippi State, I believe he only played in 14 snaps against Texas A&M, but the inside linebacker room has depth. They're good. Mike, do you think that, and I know it's kind of like the Bama fatigue, but would you say that Bama is better than USC, Washington, and Oregon, at least on paper? I mean, I know those are hypotheticals, but what's your take on that?
Well, them West Coast teams like to swing it all over the yard, but they don't know how to play defense. I think we can beat anybody in the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can. I tell you who I think could give us the best game of anybody in the Pac-12 would be Oregon. I mean, they're pretty scary offensively, and they do like to play a little defense up there in Eugene too. So I think Oregon's going to end up winning the Pac-12. But it's just, I mean, you know, I'm glad to see Bama's looking like Bama again. You know, that game kind of shook out like I thought it would. I told you we weren't going to gash them boys in the run game. You know, we're going to have to beat them over the top like Miami beat them. And, you know, Jalen's arm held up just fine. You know, and if the defense keeps playing like they're playing, we can afford a hiccup or two, but we got to clean up them procedure penalties. That got just, I mean, man, I'm surprised that Saban didn't break the headset. Like 3 procedure calls in a row. Holy good Lord.
Yeah.
But, you know, in a hostile environment, 108,000 screaming people, you know, I think there's a few people in the crowd clapping or something. You know, it ought to be I don't know. That's the only way you can snap the ball. Yep. Clap your hands. But all right, man, I'm going to get off, Colin, let somebody else get on. I don't want to take up your whole show.
Well, thank you so much, y'all. Mike. Take it easy, man. Roll Tide to you. Mike calling in from Kentucky with the great call. We got a 601, a 786, and a 251. We also have a call on the line open. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. I think we're almost we're inching closer to 94,000 subscribers. 100,000 subscribers is certainly the goal. These are the 5 questions when you call in that I want to hit on as we turn the page to Arkansas. And if there is a 49er and Dallas Cowboy update inside the comment box, I would appreciate that. We go back to the phone lines with the 601. Hey, thank you very much for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
How's it going, Kyle? Jay again from Pensacola.
Hey, what's up, Jay? I appreciate you double dipping, man. Welcome back to the show, man. Good evening.
I appreciate you taking out your time while watching the 49ers to talk to us, man. I want to appreciate that. I know that's important.
Right? Yeah. So
what I just want to
go ahead, man.
Go ahead.
No, man. I just these are the 5 questions. You know, it's like the respect, your concerns. Maybe that, Jay. When you look at this team right now, and I like the call from Mike. Such a great caller. He said it was good to see Bama looking like Bama again. I like that title. But what are your concerns still to clean up on as we kind of nitpick that 26-20 victory over A&M?
Penalties, discipline, and penalties and discipline. Yeah. And I feel like, and I would just say, I would say Jalen Monroe's progression. Like you said, like another caller had said before, on him when he doesn't see anything or about him holding the ball too quickly. Like it was tight ends that was right there in front of him, but he tried to look for something downfield. If he throws the ball strong to where only the tight end can get it, he won't have to worry about being intercepted. It's just I feel like those things. Especially the discipline, I feel like that's very key on, of course, Nick Saban teams, and like the pass interference call that got them 15 yards. for them to score the last touchdown they scored, that was BS. I feel like that shouldn't have been called. He wasn't even looking towards him to throw the ball, but yet you hold him. Why not just stay close to him? I mean, but I just that right there drove me crazy. I was cussing. I almost broke my TV. Didn't think about it, but it was that pissed me off. I said, why would you do that?
What about that play where Alabama's facing a third and long, and Jalen is getting sacked, and he throws the ball to Jace, and Jace, it looked like he caught it with his knee was on the ground.
That was amazing.
But he like tipped it up, and then he caught it, and then he turned around and got a first down. That was crazy. That might have been one of the plays of the game.
I think that was the play of the game for the announcer. The announcer said, "I've never seen anything like that. Like I've never how perfect could that be? Because if his knee was down, it would have been over with.
Yeah,
but he juggled the ball and picked it up just in time.
Yeah,
I seen the replay. I watched it over and over again, and he picked his knee up just in time as the ball was in the air. I was like, oh man, how could this? I felt like the luck was on our side with that right there, because there was luck and skill at the same time.
Out of a lot of things that didn't go their way, that play certainly did, because his knee touches the ground, he's there right there, and they're giving A&M the ball back. But yeah, that was wild. That was such a weird play, and a great play on Jace McClellan. So he came up big in that game. Do you feel, and I've been asking everybody about the defense because they are playing at such a high level. And you're probably going to answer that this is the best, team with the best defense that we've seen in the last 5 years. But what specifically do you like about the defense, Jay?
I like the hunger. Like they, regardless of the hunger they have. Like when we got the interception, they got back in. I'm talking about hyped up, because I feel like they believe in Miro too, and they got back in and they got the interception just like that once again for our offense. I feel like they hungry to show that we are still Bama and we are still the best defense in the SEC in the college football in general. In my opinion, I mean, I haven't watched the Michigan game, but I heard Michigan talking about they were the best defense. But I mean, I feel like our defense this year, like the more they progress, I love it. And this game right here, the second half, I'm so on the defense of our defense being the elite again. I agree. And
you're right. Like there is a hunger factor with that defense. And I remember asking Dallas Turner at the beginning of the season, is like, kind of pissed off kind of going into this year. And he said, yeah, they are. And it's impossible to block out all the outside noise. I think they do a pretty good job of it, but they know that the defense has been, people thought that the defense was vulnerable, that they could put points on Alabama. The Alabama has faced Steve Sarkisian and all of those wide receivers. Earlier on today's show, someone asked me the best wide receiving units were in the country, and Alabama, in my opinion, has faced two of them. Texas and Texas A&M. Man, those wide receivers were amazing for Texas A&M. Musa Muhammad was a baller. Evan Stewart, that guy's a baller. Anaya Smith, that guy's a baller. Xavier Worthy from Texas, that guy's a baller. Like all of those guys, Alabama's already faced. Plus, he faced Steve Sarkisian, the best offensive mind right now in college football. You faced Lane Kiffin. That guy is an offensive mastermind as well. It's like, so Alabama's defense has already faced some elite talent, and there's going to be more guys that they have to face. The quarterback for LSU is elite. He's very good, and he has some very dangerous weapons. So yeah, the defenses came with it, and the pass rush has been right there. Jay, anything else before I move to my next caller?
The only thing I would say, I watched the Kentucky and Georgia game. I feel like what Georgia defense did to Kentucky, how they stopped Ray Davis from running that ball. I feel like if our defense followed the same game plan as Georgia did, because Georgia shut them down. I feel like Kentucky, and they're gonna be at home. I feel like we'll get them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say. And roll tide, man. I appreciate you, Kyle. I appreciate you 1,000%, man. Like you give me stuff to watch, especially the coaching show. And I haven't watched it. I say that I haven't watched that show specifically so I can watch it while I'm driving.
Yeah.
You give me stuff to watch and great content. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Well, I appreciate you, Jay. Be safe, man. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Roll tide.
Roll tide team, man. All right, Jay calling in. Hey, Gelato, maybe that's the best receiving core as well. So you got, I was thinking the best 5 right now, wide receiving units. You have Ohio State, Texas, Texas A&M, Alabama, and LSU. Does that sound about right in terms of the best wide receivers groups in college football? I would say that's probably up there. So probably LSU. Yeah, I mean, is it Brian Edwards from LSU? Kid's a baller for sure, 100%. We will go back to the phone lines, and we have a 786, a 251, a 615, and a 256 all in the call queue. We start with the 786 right now. Hey, thanks for calling. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, what's going on, Kyle? It's Chai calling from Miami.
I appreciate you. You say Miami?
Yeah, Chai calling from Miami.
All right, man. Appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome to the show. Hope you're having a good evening. And Bama now 5-1 as we turn the page to Arkansas. The game is homecoming. Alabama versus Arkansas will be at 11 a.m. Central Time, TV, ESPN. Alabama favored by 19 points, man. Welcome to the show, man. Take it away.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm having a good day. Appreciate it. What I want to start with is, I guess your 5th topic. I know it's kind of going out of order, but I just want to do a little breakdown. So I think by beginning of November, or if not mid-November, Alabama has a chance, if they stay undefeated, to be at least number 5. Because from what you were saying, I Googled this and I was looking it up while the show started or whatever. I was actually in my car. Mm-hmm. Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State haven't really faced each other yet, and that's coming around sometime in November. Mm-hmm. And then Maryland has been a little bit formidable. The Big Ten has a little bit more competition this year than it usually has. And I don't think all those teams are going to make it, especially with Ohio State playing such a weak schedule. Mm-hmm. So I'm favoring Michigan to win. So I think Ohio State is probably going to be somewhere out. Ohio State and Penn State are probably going to be somewhere outside the top 5 mm-hmm. By sometime in November. So all 3 teams are not going to make it. And then the main point you were saying in the Pac-12,
yeah,
I think it's a really tough division, but I don't think all those teams are going to make it. I think the Pac-12 has 3 teams in the top 10 right now. They haven't faced each other yet, especially Utah has won a division the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. So I believe all 3 of those teams also play Utah, and then most of those teams in the top 10 also face each other. So I think majority of those teams in the Pac-12 are going to have at least 2 losses. Yep. I'm favoring Oregon. I don't think USC is going to make it because USC doesn't play defense, and Washington, they're kind of like a one-year wonder. Yeah. I believe Oregon has kind of been on a roll, especially since I lost to Georgia last year. So that's to answer your last question. What I like about the game, in respect for Bama, is that they're putting it together. I've been saying this since last year, especially with the guys. Stop telling the fans what you guys are doing behind the scenes and what's going on or whatever, and how you guys are putting things together and what you guys need to fix. Just do it. Mm-hmm. Like we don't need to hear every week, oh, we had a players meeting and the coaches are getting on us and so on and so forth or whatever. Mm-hmm. Just do it. That's the easiest way to stop complaining and stop hearing the fans say certain things, because a lot of people are saying Bama fans are some of the hardest fans on their players. Mm-hmm. And then let me see my concerns. So this is the thing that's been killing me. I think there's 2 things that can be fixed on the defense. Secondary need to communicate a little bit better. Kool-Aid did let a few plays slide yesterday. Mm-hmm. A few blown plays, especially not tackling. And I see that Caleb Downs have been holding them accountable for that, and so is Terrion Arnold. Mm-hmm. And then my main thing on defense is the defensive line need to put a little more pressure on the opposing quarterback and the offensive line, because when they don't, I'm not sure if you guys are looking at this tendency when the defensive line doesn't put enough pressure on the opposing team's offensive line and quarterback. On the next play, we always end up blitzing both of our middle linebackers, which I believe is stupid, because when we end up blitzing both of our inside linebackers, that vacates the middle of the field, and that opens it up to a slot receiver and a tight end. And then that equals an easy completion on third down, which continues the chain for the opposing team. So I believe the defensive line need to do a better job, and then we have to at least blitz one inside linebacker, but not both. We need somebody in the middle that's always protecting the middle of the field, because when we blitz both, we leave the middle of the field wide open for easy completion. And then the things we can fix on the offense, I believe, is offensive line need to still be more cohesive. I know some guys are young and they're still putting it together, but they need a better push so that running backs can run in better lanes. The penalty thing is the freaking killer. We all know. And then the main thing is Milroe has to stop taking meaningless sacks. Most of the sacks he's been taking is not on the offensive line. I'm not sure if you guys have been paying attention, but he tends to keep the ball and try to run with it. And he either runs out of bounds behind the offensive line, or he takes sacks trying to run. When you're outside of the pocket, you can throw the ball outside. You can throw the ball out of bounds, and you won't be called for a penalty.
Yeah.
And he continues to try to run and make a play. He doesn't live for the next play. He continues to try to force the play to happen, and that's either when he gets sacked or he throws an interception. I believe the offensive line haven't given him enough adequate time to throw the ball. I believe they also did a breakdown. He's been having between 5 and 6 seconds to throw the ball. If you don't have a play in 5 or 6 seconds, either try to run the ball or throw the ball away.
I think when
and then
go ahead,
go ahead.
No, I think.
No, go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
I think that when you look at Jalen Milroe, the thing about it is, and I've said this before, like, he's not forcing bad balls, which I think has been great. And his escapability is north and south. It's not east and west. And what I mean by that is he doesn't have that same escapability. Like, he's the fastest player probably on the field north and south, right? Like, when he gets going straight, he's gone. But like side to side, he doesn't have that agility, kind of that ninja ability that Bryce Young had, right? So with him, his best option is to get rid of the football in terms of like juking guys out, because that's just not his skill set in the back. So I think that, like Chief is saying inside the comment box, he's not that agile, if that makes sense, when evading defenders. So get the ball out so you don't have to take those chunk yards and losses. If you can't find somebody, just dump it out if you're outside of the tackle, clearly. It's just a different skill set that he has. But I'm so glad that he's just not forcing bad balls. And I think an earlier caller said that the safety on the interception, he did make a good play. With that said, he did just watch Jalen's eyes the entire time and was able to make a play on the ball. So, the passing game, as Saban said, on Wednesday, it's evolving, and then Milroe goes out and throws for 321. Go ahead, Chad. Make your final point, man.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I believe he just needs to throw the ball out of bounds when he's outside the tackle box, because it's not intentional grounding if he knows he can't make a play with his feet. And when he does that, he doesn't throw the ball away. That causes him to get sacked, and that becomes a drive killer, killing the drive when the drive can continue, when he just threw the ball away and live for the next play. But thank you, and I appreciate you taking the call.
Yeah, absolutely, Chad, man. Take it easy, man. All right, that was Chad in Miami. Got a 251, a 615, and a 256 inside the call queue. Kyle Henderson and Bama Football on YouTube. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Arkansas and Alabama, October 14th. Time it is 11 a.m. TV is ESPN. The line is 19. Alabama favored against the Hogs. Last year, Alabama actually was led by Jalen Milroe against Arkansas when Bryce Young went down. It was kind of a weird sequence of events last year, because remember Drew Sanders, who played here at Bama, he transferred to Arkansas. That was one that I felt like kind of hurt in the transfer portal, because Drew Sanders was a complete baller, right? Bryce Young goes down. Jalen Milroe steps in. has a long run in that game. He was actually chased down by one of the defenders before he got into the end zone, but that was the game where Jahmyr Gibbs went crazy. So Alabama was able to defeat Arkansas in Fayetteville this year. They come back to Tuscaloosa. Now, rewind a couple years ago, Bryce Young had to throw for almost 700 yards to beat the Hogs by 7 points. That game was crazy. You remember that? It was a couple years ago. So that game, always exciting. Sam Pittman, a great coach for sure. We go back to the phone lines with a 251. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Good evening, Kyle. This is Kevin, Dallas, Georgia. How you doing this evening?
Hey, what's up, Kevin? I appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome to the show. Take it away.
Okay, wanted to touch base on the questions, and that is as far as respect for Bama, Kyle, as you're quite aware of it. Bama hate is real.
Yep.
Like Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, Candyman, Bama hate is real. And by that being the case, the only thing that's going to shut up or get respect back for Bama will be a visit to Atlanta, a win in Atlanta, and winning first round of the playoffs as well as the national championship. That's when the haters will go back where haters go, and that's the land of hate.
Yep.
My concerns as far as on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say probably about a 5 now.
Mm-hmm.
Best D in the last 5 years, I would say, Kyle, the best D since Mr. Q Williams was on the D-line.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that really impressed me about yesterday that I haven't seen in that period of time has been how everyone was hungry and everyone had the opportunity to eat yesterday. Yeah. Everyone on the defensive line had the opportunity to have full whatever as far as the buffet yesterday.
Yeah. Yep.
Sold on Milroy yet this year. So Bama versus the Pac-12, as we all know, Kyle, the Pac-12 like to play touch football. The SEC wants to lay hands in a non-spiritual way.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, look, the teams ahead of Bama, and the latter works out well for Bama. Bama continues just to take care of business. It really does. The Texas win might or the Texas loss might throw things off a little bit, but remember that Texas and Oklahoma, if those two teams keep winning, they'll have to play again. So I'm not sure how that will work out into the equation. Sometimes the Big 12, if you track it, it gets squirrely. Those teams beat each other up a little bit. And just like we talked about, I mean, the AP poll doesn't necessarily mean much right now because the playoff poll will be coming out on October 31st. So I think it's somewhere around there. What do you, and we're on with Kevin from Dallas, Georgia, what do you like specifically about the defense? Is it the secondary? Is it the pass rush? Is it, because, I mean, I was thinking about this, like, I like all areas of it. And the defensive line is I thought that was kind of, if I had to go, I thought their pass rush was number one, like outside edge rushers was their best suit. And then, the cover corners and then the safeties. But now that those defensive linemen are playing very violent, and Tim Keenan is playing angry, and I think he might. And then Justin Ebogbe, that was probably the best game that he's ever had since he's been at Alabama.
I agree, Kyle. And it's just a matter, you stated it, as far as violence. What we had been under the Golding regime was we were physical.
Yep.
Under this regime, we're violent. Mm-hmm. And that's a night and day difference.
Mm-hmm. Super violent. And I think like the pass rush, what's been your assessment of Chris Broswell and Dallas Turner? Because that might be the most feared tandem coming towards quarterbacks in all of college football, honestly.
Kyle, when I see those two on the field, and I know it's a passing situation, the only thing that I couldn't hear the crowd in Kyle Field. The only thing I could hear when I saw them coming off the edge was a Ferrari. That's it.
Yeah.
Because all I could hear was vroom, vroom off the edges. And
it's what's amazing is there was that there was a fourth down play where they got the stuff, right? And that was Dallas Turner. So Texas A&M, I didn't like the play call by Texas A&M. So they basically, it was a fake to the running back, and then Max Johnson was going to roll out, it looked like, and he was going to throw to a wide receiver. But Dallas Turner sniffed it, and he came flying at Max Johnson, was able to hit him in his incomplete. Huge change of events for Alabama. Like, Dallas Turner is man, that guy is playing at he's honestly going to have, he's going to be in the mix for the Defensive Player of the Year award again, which William Anderson just won last year. So that's how good Dallas Turner is, and he's only getting better. Dallas Turner he's not playing like this. He's playing upwards. Like, the guy is getting better and better and better every single week. What else is on your mind, Kevin, as Alabama goes into this next gauntlet? You got Arkansas, you got Tennessee, you got an open week, you got LSU, Kentucky, Chattanooga, and then on the road against Auburn.
The perfect storm, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
All three games, the three of the most difficult 5 games that we have as far as SEC will be at home. Mm-hmm. So that's house money there.
Yeah, love it.
Now, as far as also, I question, Colin, that is in reference to this game. I look at this game as far as the University of Arkansas being a blood in the water game, and what I mean by that is this, and that is, do you think the possibility if Pittman loses and they go on a slide for the remainder of the season, that he get fired, and then that facilitates him possibly being hired as the new O-line coach for the University of Alabama, because the University of Alabama, hey, because Georgia, that was his thing, O-line.
Yeah, look, that's the dream hire for Saban. Saban tried to get Pittman over to Alabama before Arkansas, but I don't think Pittman would be on the hot seat. Now, I think Jimbo, that's a different story, and I think that was his one opportunity to kind of, tell everybody that he still has a handle of this, that he still can take Texas A&M to where they want to go. I think Pittman is safe, but Jimbo Fisher, I think that seat's got to get a little bit warm. In fact, Jimbo was asked about being on the hot seat even before the season started. At SEC Media Day, there was somebody who asked him, they're like, is your seat feel a little warm? And he was like, every year it feels warm when you're a head coach, blah, blah. But look, he hasn't taken Texas A&M to the playoffs. They have every single resource that you could ever want. They have the nicest stadium. They have unlimited funds. They simply haven't get it done. That was a missed opportunity by Jimbo Fisher. I'm kind of curious to see what happens in that, if they can buy him out, because I know they have the funds to buy him out, but I think Pittman's safe. Anything else, Kevin?
Yes, and I'll try to be brief, but I've got to be thorough, and that is, when it comes to, yesterday was the irony of ironies. Mm-hmm. The University of Texas had the best offensive line that money could buy. Mm-hmm. Texas A&M had the best defensive line that money could buy. In both cases, they lost. Mm-hmm. And just show just how things at 180. If Sarkisian, as well as those other 3 or 4 guys that went to Austin with him, were still in the Alabama staff, those defensive linemen and offensive linemen would have been in Tuscaloosa. And one question, Kyle, and that is, did I see on the Alabama sideline the gentleman who was an analyst last year, who was a former coach at Texas, head coach, former coach? He was the DC under Urban Meyer. Mm-hmm. Did I see him on the sideline yesterday?
I don't know. I have to check into that. Did anybody see that in the comment box? Let me know if you can comment on what Kevin is referring to, because I'd like to know that as well. Sometimes it's interesting to see like the different analysts that Bama has, because there's a lot of people on the sideline and a lot of people kind of behind the scenes that come and help out, but I can't answer that right now, Kevin. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay, well, again, Kyle, hey, appreciate all that you do and continue to do. And I know that, hey, it's a sacrifice for you as far as, hey, the 49ers on the back burner just for a minute. Because I'm doing the same thing because, hey, as you know, diehard 49ers since the catch. So that being the case, but Alabama supersedes, hey, the West Coast, because, hey, the West Coast will be, once again, I have the opportunity to check them out when they play the Eagles. Yep. As far as, and then again, then we're going to wind up playing them twice because, hey, we're going to play them in the doggone NFC Championship. NFC Championship also.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kyle. Keep up the good work. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you, Kevin. All right. Another 49er fan, Kevin from Dallas, Georgia. We got a 615, a 256, and a 337 in the call queue. What's the score update on the 49ers in Dallas? Appreciate you guys. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. My 5 questions for you guys when you guys call in tonight. Respect back for Bama. Your concerns are best Bama defense in the last 5 years. Sold on Milroe yet. Bama better than any of the Pac-12 teams right now that are ranked above them, which are USC, Washington, and Oregon. In my opinion, they certainly are. And Jarvis and Ron and Ponderosa have it 7-0 49ers. I looked at that over, and the total points of that game were supposed to be like 45 points, which I thought was pretty low for that game. But 7-0 49ers. Okay, good guys are up. Charlie Strong, great defensive mind. Dexter Wright. Yeah, I appreciate you with the comments, Dexter. Okay, let's go back to the phone line, 615. We start right now. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Kyle, hey, what's going on, man? This is David from Nashville.
Hey, what's up, David? I appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome to the show, and, hope you're having a good evening, man. Take it away.
Yeah, you too, man. So I have to tell you that Kevin from Dallas is one of my favorite guys that calls in. For a lot of reasons, he has good takes on everything, and he's funny. But he also has the greatest voice. And I always, and of course, I'm like, of course I have to go right after him. I sound like Mickey Mouse compared to that dude. So I'm like, great, that's great. I'm so glad I fell where I fell.
So hold on. So number one, Kevin is one of our best callers for sure. If there's if there's a Mount Rushmore, we have Uncle Charles, we have Kevin from Dallas, Georgia. So those guys are on the statue. So don't feel bad, man, because some of these guys on the call-in show, they come with it. They know more football. Coach Sean's up there for sure. They know more football. They have a better voice. That's just how the world works, right? So. But there was a night. Oh, sorry.
No,
go ahead.
I was gonna say there was a night like a year or two ago. I kid you not. I called in. It was in a row. Sean, Jarek, Kevin, and then me. Right after, I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!"
It's a batting lineup. That's
dude, but they're all.
All right,
I was
man,
how did I get here? But anyway, I was going to tell you that I know that game seemed like it was 3 hours long. That game was not 3 hours long. That game was 7 years long. And the way that I know it was 7 years long was because by the time the game was over, I could feel that 7 years had come off of my lifespan. That game just about did me in. And I'm not the kind of guy that usually I hate the refs were against us. All the refs were calling bogus calls. I think by and large, I really think the refs just call it the way they see it. And both teams sometimes get good calls, sometimes get bad calls. But my goodness, some of those calls, I'm pretty sure that there was one play where a DB put a full on people's elbow, tomahawk chop on Jermaine Burton while he was trying to catch the ball. Nothing. And then that last, I think it was the last, and I'm not the only person that said this, the last false start that they called, I don't know if they called that on Ant-Man. I don't know who they saw, but there was nobody moving anywhere because I looked, because it was the third one in a row, and I didn't see anything. So I don't know if do you feel the same way? Do you feel that the refs just, I feel like they were totally out against us on this one.
Well, I mean, the 9 pre-snap penalties, some of those are, just clearly on.
Oh yeah, some of them were totally legit.
But I think one of the field goal block, it was just that was the one, because that could have changed. That penalty had so much magnitude, right? Alabama theoretically could have lost if they don't call that a touchdown, or the touchdown that got called back. That's how big of a play it was. And when you look at that, I mean, Dallas Turner literally just put his arm out in front. It was a clean block. So I don't know. It's tough to play on the road. These guys, there was somebody who tweeted out kind of these stats about Alabama playing on the road and how much they have more penalties than the teams that they're playing at home. Somebody dove into it because they were way more pissed off than us. But I guess we'll have to see, if this continues to be a problem. Now, with that said, I think the last 3 times that Alabama's had over 10 penalties or 12 something like that, they have lost those games. So them winning with 14 penalties, like Coach Saban said, it has to be a record for most miscues and still coming out with the dub.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we earned plenty of them. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that some of those were hard to watch. And then I don't know how you feel about this. I'm torn because I watched Jermaine Burton, and, I mean, that dude just killed it. I was happy for him. I was proud of him. His play was exceptional. And there was a part of me that loved the fact that he was so fiery. And I'm like, it's just good to see somebody who's just got some fire in them. And I was happy for that. But there was another part of me that was like, can we just wheel him out onto the field like Hannibal Lecter? You know, like where his arms are taped in and his mouth is covered, and then like let him go, let him run the play and do whatever awesome thing he does. And then someone immediately runs out and puts him back into like Hannibal Lecter thing so that he can't say anything and he can't shove somebody and he can't do something or flip off the crowd or do whatever. I just feel like I'm so torn because I love that he has so much passion in him, but sometimes I'm like, just make the play and be quiet. So I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what your thoughts are.
Somebody said earlier today that he's kind of the offensive version of former player Tony Brown. So Tony Brown, there's so many stories about Tony Brown because when he was here, like that guy just did what he wanted. He would come out in his just like his girdle, like his tights and his girdle, and with no shirt, and he was the most ripped dude you've ever seen. And he would I don't even remember if he had cleats on or not. And while teams were stretching, like the opposing team would be like out on the field stretching.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
He would walk through. This was the thing that you saw all the time. And he would just walk through the team, like doing stretches. And you weren't trying to control him. You were just unleashing him. And look, Burton is starting to develop this kind of like mantra about him. He's pissed. I think a lot of it is because of how so many people doubted him from last year. Like we started to see him play better in the Sugar Bowl, and then there was so much time to think about how he didn't, he wasn't very productive last year, whatever, or this and that, that he underperformed. Because I would say he underperformed last year 100%. I think everybody would probably back me on that besides the Sugar Bowl game performance. Now this year, and I mean, go watch a video that I posted on Tuesday. I was like, this guy's playing at an elite status. He's earning more money because he came back, and that was a big time performance. I mean, 196 yards. It's more yards than he had the entire season in one game. What else you got, David?
No, and you bring up a really good point, and this is just a general point that sometimes I feel like we confuse doubting a player with like just hating on a player. Like, no, it's fair to doubt somebody. If somebody's performance is giving you reason to doubt them. Jalen Milroe, he makes plenty of plays and does plenty of things where it is perfectly fair to go, gosh, I kind of doubt this guy. And Jermaine Burton last year is the same thing. That's not to say that you're speaking terribly of the person. You're just saying they do things now and then that really cause me to have anxiety when I watch them. However, the catch is when they do put up these incredible performances, like both of those guys did yesterday, you also have to turn around and give them credit for that. But doubting somebody or being critical of somebody's play, if you're doing it in the right way and if you're doing it in the right spirit, is not hating on the person. You're just saying based on some of the things they do all the time. They give me concern. I don't know. I think sometimes we kind of blur those lines and we think that, well, to critique somebody is to doubt them and hate on them. And that's not necessarily what people are always doing. Sometimes maybe it is, and that shouldn't be the case. But I think most of the time people are looking at it as objectively as they can. At least I like to give people the benefit of the doubt that that's what they're doing.
Well, I got to move to my next call, David, but I appreciate the dialogue. Thank you very much for calling in, and please call again next time. I appreciate the continued support.
Yeah, man, you too. I don't sound like Kevin, but I'll do my best.
All right, man. See you, buddy. He's actually a good caller. I like David from Nashville. We got a 256, a 337, and an 832. Next up in the call queue, 49ers up 14-0 on the Dallas Cowboys. I guess 49ers defense coming with it. The 49ers defense, I mean, is unbelievable. So is our offense. I mean, that team has no excuses not to go out and win the Super Bowl. Plus, the offensive, the play calling is just elite. He puts the players at the right position. Kyle Shanahan, just a mastermind when it comes to the offense. Back to the phone lines. We got a 256. We take it now. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Brent from Gunnersville, Alabama.
Hey, Brett. Good evening. I hope you're having a great Sunday, and thanks for joining us on the show. Welcome on in.
Thanks, bud. Hey, I'm going to score the offense and defense, and I'm going to explain why.
Okay.
Defense, between 1 and 10, I'm going to give them a 7.
Okay.
I know it might sound low, but to me it sounds a little high, and this is why.
Okay.
Our defense, over the last 3 games, has given up probably 90% of the points in the first half.
Mm.
They're not playing the first half with the intensity they're playing in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that all 4 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say second half and intensity, what makes your what they're doing is just making the secondary look good.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting after the quarterback by only rushing 4.
Mm-hmm.
When you can rush 4 and flush the quarterback and you're covering with 7, that makes it hard on that quarterback to find that receiver.
100%. Mm-hmm.
And I just love to see them play with that same intensity in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I mean, that's where all the points have been given up.
Mm-hmm.
And the sack for safety, the 2 guys that hit Max were 2 interior linemen. I mean, they just absolutely bull rushed.
Yeah.
the offensive line.
That was Jaheim Otis and Tim Keenan.
And, it's just, I just like to see that same thing in the first half. I've not really seen it. I mean, they're hanging in there, but when they come back out of halftime, it's like a totally different animal.
Do you think, and we're on, before we move to your offensive assessment, and we're on with Brent from Gunnersville, do you feel that could be potentially just because they go inside to the locker room and make these second half adjustments? And also, a lot of these play calls are scripted in the first quarter. That's why, it felt like to me that Ole Miss was going to score 50 points. It felt like Texas A&M was going to score a ton of points until things kind of settle on in.
Yeah, you come out the second half and it's over for their offense.
Mm-hmm.
Defense just absolutely shuts them down. So I don't know what the answer is to get that same intensity in 4 quarters, not 2 quarters.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so 7 out of 10 for the defense. All right, so give us your offensive assessment.
I'm going to go 6 on that. And the reason why is our offensive line.
Mm.
And they're doing the same thing with defensive line. The first half, they're all over Milrow.
Mm.
The second half, they couldn't get nowhere near him.
Mm-hmm.
And they were still rushing 5 and 6 to try to get to him.
Mm-hmm.
And the offensive line was holding them out. Give Milrow plenty of time to find his receiver and throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And Proctor, I don't know. He that one pull he had on the run play,
mm-hmm.
he didn't get there.
Yep.
He was supposed to cover the gap, block the gap,
mm-hmm.
and he didn't get there. I mean, the running back got into the hole before he did,
mm-hmm.
and he got nailed. So Proctor is going to have to get quick. And Saban, if I'm not mistaken, there was a lot of downs. Proctor was on the sideline. Was it number 57?
Yeah, Elijah Pritchett.
In there playing?
Yeah, Pritchett. Yeah.
I mean, it just, we got supposedly one of the biggest offensive lines in college football, and we can't run it. So what are these big boys up front are bigger than the boys lining up on the other side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they not getting moved? I don't get it.
Okay.
I could understand the defensive line outweighed, and I know they were filling the box. I understand that, but they were filling it for a rush on the pass.
Okay, Brett, I have to ask you. You did the offense, you did the defense. You gave the defense a 7 out of 10, and you gave the offense a 6 out of 10. All right, he's tough on grading. I don't want to take your class, Brett, but I have to ask you before I move to my next caller. I want you to give me your special teams grade. Oh, and then I got one more grade for you. I got 2 more grades for you. You give me your assessment on the special teams. 1 out of 10. How did they play against Texas A&M? Special teams.
I give the special teams a 8.5.
Okay.
I mean, I think they played excellent, except for that one long run.
Yeah, but that's like Anais Smith. Like, that guy's a monster. I mean, I know it. He's got to be one of the best punt returns. Okay, so 8.5. Okay, are you ready for my next one, Brett? Okay.
Yep.
1 out of 10 so far through 6 games. Give Coach Saban a grade.
I'm gonna have Saban has made a lot of adjustments with the team that had not molded. And he's still, in my opinion, he's still molded them. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give him a 10 to this point.
10 out of 10.
Because what he's taken a sophomore quarterback, and try to tool him through, get his confidence up. Saban is still right there what Saban has always been.
Yeah.
But this team took a little more attention from him to get them together.
Yeah. This Saban pulls this together, and this is going to be, this would be one of his best jobs ever. I mean, what he's doing with his team and the coaching, it will be one for the ages, 100%.
I know that I've been a season ticket holder since 1988.
Yeah. Yep.
And I've been to a lot of games. The stadium wouldn't even be half full.
Yeah.
And by the fourth quarter, everybody leaving because Louisiana, Monroe, Lafayette, whatever, it beaten us.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah, Saban pulls this team together and makes a run.
Yeah.
I think it would be one of his best coaching years because how he's having to mold the talent together.
Yeah, 100%.
Braswell, that kid's playing out of his. I know Dallas Turner's good. I give him that. But Braswell on the other side, he just isn't. He's got a mean streak.
Yeah, he does. All right, Brett, I got to move to my next caller, man. But thank you so much for calling in. Again. I appreciate the tough grading. You're a tough teacher. So we'll break it again. We'll break it down again after Arkansas.
All right. See you, Kyle.
All right, see you, buddy.
Roll Tide, brother.
Roll Tide to you, buddy. Those are some tough grades. I like it, though. You got it. 7 out of 10 for the defense, 6 out of 10 for the offense. Special teams had an 8.5, and Saban had 10 out of 10. Miss Terry, of course, this team wins the title. She's the first one who has to run out and get the trophy, 100%, because we saw something change in Mississippi State when she gave Coach Saban the green light. That was like you're going to look back on the turning points of this season. That was one of the main turning points. I loved on social media there was a video of Taryn Arnold and Miss Saban coming together and hugging, just like the emotion, the excitement. That was a really good video. It's just look, they're a family, 100% family. We go back to the phone lines. We got a 337. We take it right now. Is this David in Louisiana?
You got it right. What's up?
Man, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much, David. It's really good to hear from you. I hope you were having a good Sunday. So but before we get going, so David, we missed you on our midday call. You're calling in tonight. So we had our midday call. And then after, I got the errands and chores that I did at the house. I was on fire. It was like I went to the grocery store and I mowed the front and I did this and I did that. And, I couldn't wait to get back on the show for the evening time. And here we are with the 337, man. So welcome on in and take it away.
Yeah, I called in earlier on your midday show, but you were fixing to end it up, and you was like, y'all call back later tonight. Sorry about that. And I was like, ain't no problem. I know how it is. You've been on for a little over an hour or so. But I was very well pleased with the way everybody performed yesterday. The offensive line done pretty good. Like I've heard some callers say, and I agree with them, that sometimes Milrose seems to tuck the ball and not continue trying to play it out and looking downfield. He wants to tuck and run sometimes, which, I mean, it's hard to break someone who's probably done that. I've never seen any of his high school film or anything like that, but he may have been the same way in high school, and he's still young. He's still a young quarterback. I mean, he's got a lot more training to do and everything. But you were talking about is this the best defense we've seen in the past 5 years? I put them up there. I do agree they are one of the best defenses we've seen. But I also know it was a COVID year, but the 2020 defense was pretty legit. 35 sacks, 12 interceptions, 15 forced fumbles. And one of those forced fumbles was when John Mechie rocked that Florida guy in the SEC championship game. And
that was crazy.
But
that was one of the best.
That was one of my favorite plays
ever.
Yep, one of my favorite plays, especially by an offensive player who lost the ball then got the ball back.
That was so crazy.
It was amazing. But Dallas Turner done great yesterday. The only problem I had with Dallas Turner was Max Johnson's brother, the tight end, 25 yards behind Braswell, and you're going to bump into him. They're going to call anything they see that even looks remotely close, which I seen the hit. It was a BS call. But when you see your guy 20 yards ahead of everybody else and you got blockers in front with him already helping him down the field, why do that? That hurts us. If that was in a national championship game and that was 10 seconds left on the clock, we would lose. If they were ahead, that could have been a defining point. Another problem that I have, and I love him, don't get me wrong, he's a great wide receiver, but Jermaine Burton has got to do some anger management classes or something, because these NFL scouts are watching him and he's going to drop big time on the board. I don't care how good he is at catching the ball or whatever. I mean, this attitude that he has and bumping, and wanting to argue and throw his hands up at people or whatever he's doing and getting these penalties called on him, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Just walk away. Let the other team get the penalty if they're over there harassing or whatever they're doing. He's got to calm down. He does have an attitude, and I've seen it in several games. Other than that, like I said, he's a great wide receiver. If we didn't have him right now, we would be up the creek without a paddle. It's like Coach Saban says, I don't have a problem with playing with emotions. That's great. Play emotionally. But don't let your emotions dictate the outcome of a play or a game. I might not say exactly like he did, but he was pretty much in that realm of thinking whenever he said it. You say something stupid or let your emotions get overboard. That should be a defining point in a game. That's one of the problems I have right there. Great, play with emotions, get on the field, do what you got to do, but don't let somebody else trigger you to punch them in the face or push them or whatever. I mean, those penalties. If we win the national championship, we'll probably go down in history as the most penalized team in college football to win a national championship, because all we needed was one more penalty for over 100 yards. You know, because what the least penalized you can get is 5 yards. I mean, these penalties have got to get fixed, and I understand it was at Kyle Field. I've been to the games over at Kyle Field before, and that place is loud, extremely loud. You know, thank God that whenever we play LSU, we're not playing at Tiger Stadium this year. We're playing at Bryant-Denny. You know, crowd will calm down whenever we have the ball. Braswell, he was amazing yesterday. Turner was amazing yesterday. Kool-Aid, he needs to start, you know, stop keeping your back to the ball so much. You know, if you hear ball, turn your head a little bit. 'Cause I heard that plain as day yesterday on TV. They were screaming ball. And if he'd have turned, he probably could have had an interception, you know.
Yeah, I did notice that there was a couple times, like even happened with Terran Arnold, they didn't turn around, and you know, I mean, it's happened a couple times. I noticed that, but go ahead, David, continue.
But you know, like I said, Terran Arnold, I'm high on him. Caleb Downs, Malachi Moore, you know, they're all doing great. The defensive line done great yesterday. The offensive line, I was very pleased at how they handled, for the most part. You know, what were they ranked? Supposed to be the second ranked defensive line or defense in the country or something like that coming in this game. That gave me a lot of hope in this Alabama team, that if we can, our offense, if we can continue to play like we did yesterday, you know, and go against this so-called great defense of A&M's like we did yesterday throughout the rest of the year, I don't see a problem with us not being able to move forward without another loss. I don't think we will lose another game. I hope and pray to God we don't lose another game. But you know, it's like I heard someone say, would you rather Alabama play their best game of the year yesterday, or would you rather them perform better each and every game and then play their best game of the year whenever it matters the most? You know, I would like to see them be able to play their best game every single game, but as they keep progressing, you know, they're getting better. Then the next weekend they get better. You know, we got Arkansas. Arkansas has been giving some of these, you know, good teams fits lately. You know, was it Ole Miss? They gave Ole Miss fits, and Ole Miss got one of the best, you know, top offenses in the country. You know, they Ole Miss squeaked it out by 7 points. In the Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever they are, that teams from way over yonder compete with Alabama. Maybe if we were playing like we was when we played USF, yeah, they probably could. Because the way UAB beat the living tar out of USF last night, I'd have been scared to play them the same day that we played USF. UAB thumped them yesterday. But I'm excited about this team. I really am. I can't wait to see what we look like moving forward. There's things that do need to improve on both sides of the ball, like always. You know, just like Coach Saban says every game. Yeah, I was very pleased with the way they played, but there's things that we can still improve on. And that's just a part of. It's just part of sports and everyday life, period. There's things that we can improve on in our marriages or our work life or whatever. And thank God I'm not married. But, you know, it's just, you look at the way the football is, you can look at it the same way as life is. It always needs work. You know, it always needs work. But, like I said, I'm just very happy and pleased that we pulled it out. It was a stressful game. You know, it doesn't matter who we're playing. I always kind of have that little bit of antsiness about me, you know, and have 911 on speed dial, especially this year. You know, it's been one of those years you never know what Alabama you're going to get. And I was very happy that we got the Alabama that we all believe in and that we all looking forward to seeing throughout the rest of the year. And it's just going to be one of those years. And I believe we will win out and go to the SEC championship. And I believe we will beat Georgia, make the playoffs. You know, like I said earlier in the comments, it depends on how everything lines out. It seems like the AP and these voters or whatever, trying everything they can do to keep us out of the top 10. You know, because we should have moved up, even though
100%.
Arkansas,
100%.
Even though A&M wasn't ranked. I mean, you look at the statistics and the proof that A&M had a legit defense and a legit offense, but USC struggled against a team that was 3-3 or 2-3 or whatever they were when they played them last night. They should have dropped out, because if Alabama would have struggled and been high as ranked they were, you know how everybody is about Alabama. They hate Alabama with a passion because of the championships we've won and the way we recruit. Nobody likes Alabama, especially here in Louisiana. They can't stand Alabama because Nick Saban left to go to the NFL, came to Alabama, you know, call him a traitor. They hate him. But if he come up for leaving Alabama and they fired Kelly, they'd want him back at LSU, you know. I mean, the GOAT can go anywhere. But anyways, brother, I'm going to get off here. With that being said, I'm going to close out like I always do. God bless everyone. God bless this country. Y'all keep Israel in y'all's thoughts and prayers. That's God's chosen people. And roll tide.
Roll tide to you, Mike. Thanks for roll tide to you, David. Thanks for calling in, buddy. Appreciate it. Got my Mike's and David's mixed up. Hey, appreciate the super chat, Ryan. Thank you so much for the feedback. Really appreciate it. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I have 5 questions on the board. Respect back for Alabama, all the way down to Bama better than all the Pac-12 teams. And I saw inside the comment box with 49ers up on Dallas 21-7, which is great news for me and my son. Caden, what's up, Caden? If you're out there, I appreciate you. He's the biggest fan. I got a board right here of all the things that I got to take care of regarding the Bama YouTube business model, and came into the office the other day, and Caden left me a note. It said, "Keep crushing it. Your biggest fan, K-Dog." So if you're out there, K-Dog, I appreciate all your support, man. You mean the world to me. Absolutely. Okay, we go back to the phone lines at the 832, and we start right now. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from? I appreciate you being patient.
Absolutely. This is Mike from Austin, Texas.
What's up, Mike? I appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you very much for being patient once again. I know a busy night. You know, there's a lot to go into, so thank you so much, and welcome on in. Welcome on in.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I just want to say that it was a good victory for Alabama, and I think part of what played out was Jimbo Fisher just got out coached by Saban, and the reason I say that is because Jimbo Fisher went into this game with the mindset that they were going to have to stop the run, and then the mindset that the quarterback, Bama's quarterback, was going to run the ball a lot. Milroe was going to run the ball. But that's not what happened. Milroe didn't try to run. Now, I don't think not one time this whole game he didn't try to run. He threw the ball instead, So I think Bama went in there with kind of a different offensive mindset a little bit, and then and got the ball to the receivers. And I just think that was part of the coaching, because Milroe didn't try to run the ball not one time. that I can recall. That was a play call, like a run play call.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good victory for Alabama, though. It was a good victory for them, and their Alabama's defense is definitely one of the best they've been in the past 5 years.
100%.
I think Nick Saban, he did exactly what he needed to do. He got rid of that guy he had last time that went to Ole Miss, Pete Golding, and he brought, he's got a new defensive coordinator now. So I think the defense is playing of Alabama, past defenses that are just putting a lot of pressure on the opposing quarterback, stopping the run, and playing good defensive secondary. But it was a good victory for Alabama.
Yeah, and I think like kind of the coaching sometimes, like the early part of the game where Jimbo could have picked up a field goal, and I get it, they have momentum, and I see it from two folds. Number one, if you get that fourth down against Alabama's, incredible defense, you gain so much momentum, but then you take away like almost a, I was going to say automatic 3 points, but Alabama blocked on their field goals. But, in a game like this, it's tough to outcoach Saban. And as some callers have been saying tonight, Alabama's been able to make some really great adjustments in the second half, and they've had to adjust because look at the teams that they played. Now that we've kind of looked back on the schedule, let's just look back for a schedule at the schedule. Alabama's played a pretty difficult schedule, right? I mean, think about the offensive minds that they faced. And, Texas, Ole Miss, on the road at A&M. It's been a pretty good schedule for Alabama. It's certainly been tougher than Michigan's and certainly been tougher than Georgia's for sure. And those Pac-12 teams, I think so. So when we look back, the defense has been tested and they've been able to make some good adjustments in the second half. But you're right. I mean, the play of Jalen Milroe was completely outstanding. That was such a great game for the kid. We got to hear from him on Monday, as well as Nick Saban to preview this game going into Arkansas. And I'm just really happy for the kid because we continue to see so much growth from him in terms of we're literally watching his entire game evolve week by week. It's just not like, every single time it gets better and better and the offense gets better. And if you're going to lose in college football, you do it early. They did that. They're able to rebound, refocus. And there for a while, the mood for the team kind of seemed, we didn't really know what was going to happen. But now we know that this team is built on defense. We know they can win on the road. We know they can win through the air. We know they can win with on the ground game. We know their special teams is very solid. And again, we'll have an update on James Burnap, the punter, on Monday, maybe from Coach Saban. Same with Malachi Moore, who tweaked his ankle. On the line with Mike from Austin. What else you got, Mike?
Well, Milroe, he's a good thrower. I don't think many people question his ability to throw because the statistics are there. It's just the untimely interceptions that's been haunting him a little bit. Kind of, that was held against him. But he apparently his statistics are there, and he's got a great arm to put the ball downfield. But yeah, it was. I'm a Milroe fan, no doubt about it. I think he's the best. What's in the quarterback room right now, compared to the other two guys that was there. But yeah, he can definitely throw the ball, and I'm glad that Bama's getting a downfield throwing game. That is so important because it opens up the running game, and it opens up, of course, Milroe's running game when he has to scramble and run. But as far as people talking about the wide receiver, Burton, and his attitude being you got to keep in mind that these guys are young, man. These are college age kids. Like some of them are right out of high school. These guys are young, so that they get a pass on something. Heck, I'm almost 60 years old. If you see a 60-year-old out there acting like a young, cocky person, okay, that's one thing. But these are just kids we're talking about, So to me, I'd give Burton a little bit of pass on that, and that's just the way wide receivers are, man. That's just there's a long list of wide receivers, who are just hot dogs like that. I don't hold that against them too much. And another thing, that penalty that was thrown on Dallas Turner when they returning that kick, when we returning that block kick, That penalty was total BS, if I may say, and the reason why it had nothing to do with affecting the play, that happened 15, 20 yards behind the actual play. That didn't affect the play whatsoever. That was a bad flag they threw on Dallas Turner. So Bama should have put the game away then if not for that bad flag. But my only concerns for Alabama, but like that, go down your list real quick. My only concerns for Alabama is their offense has got to keep going because apparently their defense is there. There's no question about that. The special teams, their offense has got to keep it up, keep it going. Their running game, Milroe's got to keep the downfield passing going to keep the field spread out a little bit. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, this is definitely the best defense in the past 5 years. They had to get rid of Pete Golding. I guess all the fans are right about that. Everybody else was, too. And as far as being sold on Milroe, heck yeah, I'm sold on Milroe, no doubt about that. Like I said, everybody knows he can throw the ball. It's just the untimely interceptions that was kind of been held against a little bit. And as far as Bama versus the Pac-12, well, yeah, Bama's overall better than the most teams in the Pac-12, no doubt about that. But on any given day, if Oregon showed up and played their best game, and Bama has all these penalties and stuff and don't play their best game, yeah, Bama can get beat, no doubt about that. Bama's still a beatable team. And I'm a major Bama fan, but they're still a beatable team. And I'm not too worried about the Tennessee game. I think Bama's going to take care of business with Tennessee. It's the dang LSU game, man. Mm-hmm. It's the LSU game because they got all the ingredients it takes to beat Alabama, and that's the game they got to get past right there. But all right, Kyle, I appreciate you taking my call, man. Keep up the good work. Roll Tide. Good luck. God bless. And you have a good night.
All right, man. Take it easy, buddy. Appreciate you calling in. Got a couple things that I want to go over before I get to my next caller. So I felt this is an interesting graphic to look at. So it's not necessarily a graphic, but it's a list of all the entire penalties from this game. I don't want to let me bring this full screen to you guys. Okay, so what we're looking at here are the 14 penalties and each of the penalties who the penalty was on. So the first penalty was a false start by Jermaine Burton, pre-snap. Then a false start by Caden Proctor, pre-snap. Third penalty was a false start by Elijah Pritchett. And then an unsportsmanlike by Jermaine Badman Burton, right? Then you have unsportsmanlike, which was an offsetting penalty. So that was the fifth penalty. Do you guys remember who that was on? Sound off in the comment box. The sixth penalty was another pre-snap by J.C. Latham. And then you have a 3rd and 8. It was a penalty on a pass interference, and that was on Jalen Key. Number 8, the 8th penalty was an illegal snap by Seth. Number 9, it was a pre-snap false start by CJ Dupree. That's incredible to see all these false starts by this team. I think a lot had to do with Texas A&M. It had to be. The stadium was crazy. But also with that said, you look and you watch the ball right from the outside, especially if you're a wide receiver. If you're a wide receiver, you should never be, have a false start. And then 10 and 11, those are each on Jaden Roberts. This is his first start of the season, playing at the right guard position. The 12th penalty was Trey Amos, and that was what was that? That was a holding. And then the 13th play was a roughing the passer on Chris Broswell. And then the 14th was CJ Dupree's second false start of the game. So I don't think we've ever done that before. Kind of looked at the statistics from looking at all the penalties. I don't want to say this is a weekly thing that we're going to do, but it is kind of interesting to kind of look back at the overall stats and see who the false starts. But 9 false starts, and that would probably be the question to Coach Saban. Did that have to do with the crowd atmosphere, or is that kind of lack of attention to detail, before you snap the ball? I don't know. Those are just, it's mind-blowing to see the 9 pre-snap penalties. We go back to the phone lines with the 716. Hey, thanks for being patient. Who on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Good evening, everyone. It's Q from Brooklyn. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Q? I appreciate it,
Hello?
man. Yeah, thanks for calling in, Q. Go ahead, man.
How you doing?
Good, man. I appreciate you being patient and, a lot to kind of dive into. After this Texas A&M game, 26-20, Alabama now 5-1 on the season. We turn the page towards Arkansas, man. What's on your mind, Q? Take it away.
I'm going to say first and foremost, I'm very appalled with our ranking as of this evening. I don't know how we're still sitting at 11th. I don't think Oregon is better than us. Multiple Pac-12 teams aren't better than us. That's in the top 10. That's ridiculous. I mean, seriously, I don't know. Like the last caller said, I think there's a vendetta out on Alabama. But come on now. You got Oklahoma, who went into 5th. And then you have Texas going to 9th. Texas should have dropped even lower than that because the strength of their schedule is not even compared to what Alabama has to face. But switching over to the game, man, I'm happy we won.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 calls ago it was stated that the way we start in the first half is very slow and very shaky. That I believe so that in the second half Coach Saban has to light some fire in there behind to make sure they come out and change the way they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy with the changes that we've made in the second half at the offensive line. You can see there were some changes during the game that I noticed at the offensive line that helped us a lot. I seen Delcourt come off, and they brought in another couple more plays at the guard position, which was helpful for us. I seen Proctor come out for a couple plays, and then he came back in. But I think that SEC play is really tough on the freshmen because that play where Jalen Murrow got blown up from that backside was because Proctor, he pushed inside too much and didn't realize that there was somebody coming off the edge when there was 6 on the line ready to go. They've been running that same thing on 3rd down all the time. But I don't know how Proctor, I think it's the age and the mindset that he didn't realize that he was not supposed to down block that far and pick up the other blitzing linebacker that came off the edge that was spying him the whole game. All in all, I'm pleased with the way that we played. I think that our running game, I think it's either one game we're running the ball so well, we can't throw the ball. And I think this game, we aren't running the ball so well that we had to throw the ball. And if you notice, in the pocket, when Jalen Murrow has time, he's good. When he's being rushed, he is not good. And I think that our pocket secured itself yesterday, giving him some time to throw the ball, which was evidently better for us because he was able to throw. When was the last time he had over 300 yards yesterday because he had time in the pocket? And this is a first-year starter, so you have to give him that time in the pocket to be able to throw. And I think that that's what we established. I think that offensive coordinator needs to, okay, you're too heavy on certain things, and then you lack certain things. One game we're passing the ball lovely, we're running the ball horribly. We're doing this, and I think we need to have a balanced attack. Because when we play teams, like we play Texas A&M, we'll play our baby brother and Kirby Smart. You know we're going to play our baby brother. So I think that's when we need to start establishing that type of balance where we can run the ball, pass the ball. I think we'll start to play. First down, we'll run the ball. Second down, we'll run the ball. Third down is 3rd and 9. We didn't get no yards on the first 2 downs. Third down, he'll decide to throw the ball. I think that's not how you should be calling plays with this team that we have right now. I think we need to be decisive and then be able to execute differently. Not everything is run heavy, not everything is pass heavy, you know. But all in all, I'm pleased. We established our 2 wide receivers that can probably, you know, be our leading receivers in what's his name?
Jermaine Burton and
number
Isaiah
3.
Bond.
Isaiah Bonds and Jermaine Burton. I think Jermaine Bonds needs to Jermaine needs to calm down a little bit. I think he wears his emotions too much on his sleeves, and it shows. Not everybody's attacking you. You need to calm down because the game of football is 80% mental and 20% physical. Mentally, he gets too emotional and it affects his play. That fumble that he had, he if you see him after he had the fumble, instead of him to get up and clap his hands and say we're going to get it back, he laid on the ground, put his head down, and was crying like he was in pain. No, son, you get up, shake it off. And the defense got you the ball back right away. So now all that emotion that you wasted on the ground, crying and pantering and being upset with yourself, you wasted about 60% of your energy on that. to come back in the next play and what we did, run the ball and run down there and score. So, I mean, all in all, I'm pleased. I think the other caller gave Nick Sammy the 10. I think we got to give Mrs. Saban the 10, and Coach Saban has to give all that credit to Miss Saban because of what she has been able to do for us.
Appreciate the call, Q. I'm going to move to my next caller, man, but I always appreciate hearing from you, and thank you very much for calling in tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. God bless America. God bless me, Kyle. God bless you. God bless this. God bless Alabama football. God bless Miss Saban. God bless Mr. Saban. God bless all my brothers and sisters all around the world. Roll Tide. Have a good night.
Roll Tide to you, Q. Thank you very much for calling in, buddy. I like how I threw Coach Q has always done that. He's always called in and he's always spread the blessings. And I like how he added Miss Saban. She might win the award. And the thing about it is Miss Saban has done such a great job in the city of Tuscaloosa. She is giving back a ton. In fact, one of the best things that she's done is there is a playground for if you have a disability, if you have a child with a disability. She created a playground specifically that is, for that. And it's somewhat near my house, and it's always packed with different children, and they've done a great job with Habitat for Humanity, and she does a really great job. And of course, she's gave Saban the green light to get after the guys, which turned them up. All right, this is my last caller of the night. So 334, I know you just called in. Hang up so you don't have to wait online. No, I got 2 334s. The one who's been online, you stay here. We'll go right now. But the one who just called in, you can hang up. But we'll take that. This will be the last call of the night. Hey, good evening. You're online with Kyle Henderson. Who am I online with, and where are you calling in from?
It's Daniel from Calera again.
Hey, what's up, Coach? I appreciate you sneaking in, man. Right before we exit out, we got the 49ers up on the Cowboys. We fit on a lot of points tonight, and we have such great callers, and you have clearly, been welcome to the show, and we appreciate your insight. And I'm sure you maybe had another chance to watch the game, or some other ideas have kind of popped into your head. So what's on your mind, Coach?
Yeah. Oh man, Jerry, my whole step. I take the Alabama game. I look at it in two ways, as a fan, as a coach. The first, as a fan, I just say, why it take so long to make an adjustment? It's like we'll beat our head against the wall, no matter what's going on. We, as Alabama team, we're coming together. We're gonna run the ball. It take us to get down, start losing before we decide to say, okay, the running game is not working. Let's go to the pass game. I don't understand why it takes so long to do that. I mean, the coach that takes too long. But then as the coach, you just get like, okay, the film said all week long, we can in the run it, and we're gonna run this ball and try to see except we got pass or something. So this all kind of confuses me because it seems like to me that we should have to do that right now. It's like you got me saving the coach all the time, telling Reese come from Notre Dame. You should always have an A and a B plan. You should never go in the game with plan A and think it's going to work the whole game. And this type of football, everybody watch them. They know exactly what you like to do. Like I know Bama, when they get in the 12 personnel, they were 2 tight ends. They'll put them real close to the line. They like to run a power play. So why have you not on film do action fake out formation for you won't tilt your hand? It's like they run the same play from that same formation. So you know the other team know when you get that formation, we're going to do some kind of slant to destroy that play. It's like we still do the same. It's like, are we insane or something? But what's your ideas on that? Well, you notice too, we run the same place like route. Every time not black in the side end.
Coach, I have to interrupt, man. The connection isn't that good, man. Call again next time. I'm not sure what was up with the connection, but please call again. Nothing wrong with you, obviously. It's just I just think that the phone call, man. We can't. It's if the phone connection isn't clear, we got to move on. It's nothing personal at all. It's just like people are watching. So Hey, I appreciate you guys calling in tonight. Thank you very much for calling in the show. When you do call in the show, make sure you have a good connection so we can get you through. And it does sound good. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys sticking with us. 4 hours of call-in show today, and it didn't stop. And I mean, that just says so much about your guys' support to the channel. Hit the thumbs up. As you can see, we're almost to 94,000 subscribers. 100,000 subscribers is the goal by December. I appreciate all the support, all the feedback, and just rapping football with you guys. We got one last note from Toby tonight. Toby is the biggest Alabama football fan from Leeds, Alabama. He was saying that, he told me that the AP poll wasn't out when I was asking everybody about the AP poll, but he said that Jermaine Burton had a fantastic game. That was one of his MVPs, and he said that we can win them all. So on that note, Toby, I love the note. He said, we could win them all. Keep doing what you're doing. Kyle Henderson from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. On Monday, we got Coach Saban's press conference. We got Sam Pittman from Arkansas. You got Jalen Milroe up at the podium. We will bring those all right here to you on Bama Football on YouTube. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, my name is Kyle Henderson. Have a good evening and roll tide to you.